We're now on to part 5 of our Conservation Agricultural module. This I'm going to actually start talking about some planters and some of the things like disc versus tine and the different types of disc seeders as well. There's quite a bit of interest nowadays in disc seeders and what sort of things you should, where can you use those? We're going to talk a bit about that. So let's launch now into the first part of machinery, the actual machinery nuts and bolts. Planting through stubble. I'm going to talk a little bit about discs or tines. There's a lot of interest in single discs. I don't know, you don't see there's that many single discs up here, but there's a lot of interest in single discs in other areas. And there's also companies offering, interchangeable discs or tines sort of options. Inter-row sowing, trash whippers are used probably more on the corn planters and that. Covering chains to try and reduce the baking, and we'll just have a look at some conversion and no-till and diffusers. So there's a really good controlled traffic planter for you. I mean, the ridiculous number of wheels, isn't it? I think you should also consider what other things we're trying to do when you're buying a planter. And I see a lot of trailing rigs up here, but I don't see many 3-point linkage rigs, and I'm wondering why people aren't using 3-point linkage as a better option. If you've got 9 metres or 12 metres, it'll work fine on 3-point linkage if you've got a reasonable sized tractor. I mean, I know probably a lot of you guys wouldn't have 4-wheel drives anymore. No? Most people got rid of their 4-wheel drives, or front wheel assist. I see this sort of combination though, probably the most robust. I'm not promoting, well I like XL, I think they do a really good job, but any sort of combination that's like that, a parallelogram with depth control and an adjustable tine and an independent press wheel pressure, I think is a very robust system. It'll do just about anything you want it. Deep sowing, shallow. This one here does side banding, but they've sort of got rid of that option. That was a really good option, I thought, but that's no longer available. But that sort of combination to me is sort of very robust, and it can just about deal with any situation. I do like independent press wheel pressure, but things like the banana farmer, relies on the hydraulic pressure and adjustments to get depth and that. I'm not as big a fan of that sort of combination, but these work extremely well, obviously, in Central Queensland. And I actually had this guy here planted using this front double disc, and I said, "Oh, you wouldn't use that as a seeder, would you?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, no, I won the mung bean competition by seeding it through the front discs." So there you go. He got a trip over to Asia as a result of winning the mung bean competition. So I had to eat my words there a bit, but yeah, that was the machine that did it. So. There's also other things around. You probably haven't seen anything like this before. This is built by Simplicity, and it's called a Striker. There's a few of them on the downs. It's a walking beam style rather than a full parallelogram, but it's not very big, so there's not that much chance for unevenness to stuff you up. It's very light, which might not suit you guys too much, but the breakouts there, it's got plenty of strength. But I think the reason why planters are so expensive is because we put so much steel into them, because we're working on the lowest common denominator, aren't we? We're working in the absolutely worst situation they're designed for. When 90% of the time they're probably not working at 350, 400 pound breakout. So I think the future is lighter and cheaper units like this that can get over the ground quickly and be much more agile. But I don't see many of these in the field. Single discs, sorry for the quality of these, are a bit ordinary. I've just got them off the website, but have a look at John Deere versus XL. Some similarities there, do you think? Maybe? It seems to me single discs, everyone's just copied someone else and changed something slightly. It's a bit like, the Barton sort of was some of the first, and then everyone sort of copied off that and made improvements. I see a lot of, I don't see too many John Deere single discs. There's one up here at Wowen. He said he's really happy with it. XL, I see a lot of them around, and I've seen people quite happy with that. That's just imported straight from Brazil. Austil, and make a very good planter. The planter is excellent. I've seen it go through some horrendous stubbles.
What about that
Yeah, it'll go down to 4, maybe 5 inches if you push it.
That's a single disc.
Yeah. Austil, made in Dolby.
Is there a Boss agriculture down Narrabri?
Don't know that one. They don't make the Bullet, do they? Is that the one?
I think it's very similar to the Excel one. I saw one the internet the other day.
No, I don't know that one.
Yep.
There's an NDF, which is a big single disc, and a Daybreak. I don't know. Yes, see, they got a big disc which helps with the rolling, but I see a lot more of them heading south now. They're good in the wheat country, but generally single discs. They're a little bit cheaper, but I had a guy at Gindi say he brings the single disc out when he puts the tine away, so he's not making it work at all. They have to leave it really late before they can actually start using it. So that's why, again, I think the flexibility that we need up here, a tine is probably pretty important. But I do like single discs, but we're really struggling to get them to work properly, I think. And there's still a lot of issues with single discs. Well, this is a little dairy farm. We converted this machine, or he got this machine made, twin bar. I forget what row spacing, probably 12-inch or something. Quite a cheap planter, It's only a 6-metre planter, but and a little dairy farm, so we don't need to have a massive machine. And got everything on 2-metre controlled traffic. And not what everyone's doing in grain, but that worked for that dairy farm for forage. And you can see you can get a number of shooting options here down the bottom, but obviously still, again, you've got to be very careful with nitrogen. You don't want to put too much nitrogen down the seed. But seeing people using single discs just for inter-row banding, that's becoming popular. But I guess single discs, there's a lot more, fewer moving parts than a double disc. Like the Austils and that, simple to adjust, they're really straightforward. And a lot of people are going at higher speeds, so compared to a tine. So I wouldn't use a tine over sort of 8 or 9 kilometres an hour. I know you guys might do more than that. If you're going to deep sow wheat or something, you'd go a bit faster to try and blow a bit of dirt out of the way. But as soon as you get up beyond 9 k's, I see a lot of, you get a rooster tail behind each thing. So, but with single disc, people are doing 12 to 15 kilometres an hour. So if you are limited by the size of your machine, you can go faster with a single disc. There's people doing silly stuff with them that I think, but that 12 kilometres an hour, 12 to 15 is probably okay. Deep sowing's a problem. Sometimes fine-tuning, you just can't get it right. You just tried so many different things, it's still not working. Sometimes I see, because the single disc tends to lift the seed a bit as it rotates, sometimes we get this uneven depth control. And I don't know if some of the companies tell me they've fixed that problem, but I think it's inherent with the single disc where it lifts as it turns, whereas a double disc is opening a slot and drops. Don't see that. Sticky soils. In old wheel tracks, I've actually saw where an Austil went through in a wheel track and I could still see the seed because it hadn't closed the trench. People seen a lot of the old Kinsey around. They're not. I think they do an excellent job, the old Kinseys, and sort of people. Some people tend to not want to use them anymore, but I think they're an excellent planter. And that's an old one, but there's a new one. That's what you get straight off the website. But you can get coulters for them, trash whippers. I think they're good and reliable. And, like you say, copy probably pretty much the same as a John Deere. XL have also bought out Maxemerge to me is one of the best planters on the market. They're everywhere on where anyone's planting corn or whatever. They are a brilliant planter, that's for sure. But XL have also made a sort of copy for a double disc. This one obviously for non-precision planting, but you can put a box on that as well. Put a John Deere box on it. You can actually buy John Deere metering systems as well and put them on. I've seen guys do that on XLs. There's this is from the Gessner, this one. Yeah, they make like a parallelogram, double disc, single disc They will make 3 different options. That'd be worth a look at as well. Hear good reports about their single disc units, so definitely worth a look. And you notice down there on that bottom right left-hand photo, the square scrapers. A few companies are going towards these square scrapers. The round ones were staying stationary, not cutting, whereas the square ones never sit still, so they're always moving around, and they seem to be working a little bit better as well. I guess the double disc, we've got good depth control, precision, pretty good planting speeds and low soil disturbance, but the big negatives are the cost. You know, I was at a place the other day. He said he just replaces everything on the Maxemerge every 2 years, and he only farms about 1,000 acres, or a couple of thousand acres or something. So he just goes through. He said by the 3rd year, there's one thing breaks down, then you fix that and another thing. So he just does the whole lot every 2 years, bearings and everything. I see people go, as soon as you've got a bit of a crush, you can go with a double disc. But the trouble is that they're wide, so we're not going to stack them into a bar, unlike a single disc or a tine. So if you're looking at double disc for your corn and sorghum, I'd be looking at either Norseman, Excel, Kinsey or John Deere, and they're all good.